Am I on? I am. Hello, Elliot. Gonna have to bear with me. I don't do live streams too often, so yeah, I'm a bit rusty with how this works. So yeah, I've got Turtlehead 2 here and Elliot by the looks of it. How you doing, Turtlehead? So I'm gonna just keep. So I'm gonna just keep this going for a couple of minutes and just wait for some more people to join. So we've got 7 people in by the looks of it at the moment. So yeah, what's everyone doing at the moment? Which is your front end of choice? I've done a couple today on Retrobat. So I did 64DD. That's the N64 expansion. That's okay, Turtle. So greatly appreciate your dedication to the craft. You're my go-to for all things retro. Thank you for saying so. That's awesome. So me, I've been into the computer since the kind of early 90s, probably about 1990. I had a Commodore 64 for Christmas, and all took off from there. So I find a lot of retro gamers, they base themselves around Nintendo and possibly Sega. But with me, as you probably discover on my channel, I got an interest and a passion in pretty much everything from Sinclair computers up until what, Dreamcast, GameCube, or PS3 rather. So yeah, let me just remind you, it's not just Retrobat and front ends in general that I do on my channel. I've got loads of playlists ranging from microcomputer setup guides to console and arcade setup guides. So got lots going on there. And Retrobat, I do a lot of those because my channel kind of took off about a year ago. We're doing general Retrobat guides in. Yeah, I've got a lot of subscribers for that. So, yeah, what's everyone using at the moment? Is everyone here for Retrobat? What I was planning on doing is just really finding out what everyone's wanting from my channel at the moment. So this is what I use, and I actually did my favorite front end system. Talking about front ends, this is Launchbox. So if you're new to Launchbox, like I say, I've done setup guides on this too. So Launchbox obviously is free, but I use the premium version of this, and yeah, it's very cool. So Elliot, which suggestions have you got? Let me just shrink down my webcam a minute. Okay, that's a little bit better. So, yeah, this is Launchbox what I use, and in terms of simplicity, Retrobat. If you're new to front end systems, then yeah, Retrobat all the way. Have you tried out Windowcast? Windowcast. I'm not actually sure what Windowcast is, Elliot. Yeah, to be honest with you, Turtlehead, Retrobat is kind of pretty much the next front end I'd use. Uh, yeah, I think I like the whole customization thing on Launchbox, definitely. With Retrobat, someone actually asked me today in comments, or rather said to me, is it possible to put your own emulators into Retrobat? You can do this, but it would mean configuring. Um, it would just mean going into particular files within Retrobat and editing things and pretty much rewiring it to read new emulators. It's not really a thing to do, because if you start messing around with text documents, it's going to interfere potentially with other systems being used in Retrobat. But yeah, that's the only downfall from Retrobat, is that you don't really have the ability to add emulators like you would with something like Launchbox. So whatever the devs at Retrobat want you to play, you can play it. Yeah, I've not actually heard of that, but what I'm going to do is take a note of it. So Google Window Castle Retro. Yeah, I'm actually going to take a note of that now. Okie dokes. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look into that. I'm always on the lookout for new systems to do setup guides for. I'm always looking for stuff. So it's good for me to learn new things. I like learning, and obviously people want easy setup guides like my videos I do. So Window Castle Retro. So yeah, I've just made a note of that, as you can see. So I'll take a look into that. I was watching your PS Vita guide, but it looks like they took away the M3U editor. I can't get them to show. So Turtleweds, the way to do this is uh, the launch of Retrobat version 6 was a mess. I think that's pretty much universal. Bat GUI was shockingly bad in version 6. Now we're on version 6.1 of Retrobat, and from what I've seen of the Bat GUI, from what I've seen of it a couple of weeks ago, that editor for M3U isn't there, but there is a way you can do this outside of Retrobat. So M3U files are going to be for, say, 2 disc games, 3 disc games. So let me give you an example. A way of doing this, if I was to... What I'm going to do is attempt to show you how to manually do this yourself without Batch UI. So what you need is a text document. And what you need to do, bear with me, some attract mode script just there. What you need to do, roughly, is open up a text document like I'm about to do. And let's just say you've got Final Fantasy 7 for PS1. What you need to do, I actually did a video on this a little while back, but what you need to do is put the names of your discs in here. So let's just say Final Fantasy 7, and let's just call this disc 1. And Final Fantasy 7 on PS1, it's got what, 4 discs? Final Fantasy 7 disc 2. And the creation of M3U files is kind of something like this. So let me see if I can actually point you to a video where I've actually done this. Like I said, it's just can't think off the top of my head, but yes, M3U file creation. It's pretty much doing what I've done just here, and then you file, and then you save it as, and pretty sure you then name it .m3u. What I'm going to do is look for a video where I've actually explained how to do this. you know what? I think a really easier way, M3U file creation, if I Google M3U file creation, let's just say PS1. So obviously, many different systems have games where you're going to have several discs. So multi-disc games tutorial M3U. So here you go. If I copy this, there's a good explanation just here. I'm just going to paste this in there for you, and you can read how to manually make your own .m3us just there. Like I said, you don't need Retrobat, not really, to do that. Yo, School's playlist. Is there a way to import pinball games you showed a bit ago into Launchbox? Import pinball games you showed a bit ago. So the only pinball games I've done, School's playlist, is Future Pinball for Retrobat, and also did Visual Pinball for Retrobat. There's likely a way to import those in Launchbox as well. What I'm going to do is make a note of that. To be honest with you, it has been on my to-do list, but as many of you are aware, I cover so many different front ends and emulators. So yeah, the whole purpose of this stream is I'm trying to work out what it is people want from my channel. So already I'm going to be, thanks Turtlehead for your donation. That's really kind of you. Nice one. Okay, so yeah, I'm just trying to generate a list here of what it is my subscribers want. So someone just a minute ago suggested Windowcast Libretto. I've never heard of this, but apparently it's pretty tricky to set up. So next up, we got Pinball for Launchbox. I'm happy to look into that tomorrow. Pinball Launchbox. And, you know, I'm pretty sure if a lot of you here follow what I do on my channel, a lot of you's probably thinking, how does that YouTuber know of all these different emulation things? A lot of research, and that's how I do it. One system a lot of people have been asking for is Pegasus front ends. I'm not going to say I'm going to release that one immediately, but Pegasus front end is a bit of a beast, if I'm honest with you. So it is coming at some point. Oh, that's okay, Heavy Instinct. Yeah, I think I've talked to you in the past when you commented on videos, that type of thing. So, yeah, like I said, I've always had an interest in computers, consoles, computers, really. Microcomputers is my passion. We're talking 80s microcomputer, 8-bit computers. That is my passion. But I've always enjoyed consoles and computers from, about 1990. C64 all the way, man. And if I've got any Commodore 64 fans here, I don't really upload much of that anymore. I've got another channel, which is Commodore Rediscovered. So, to be honest, I've not uploaded on Commodore Rediscovered for, 2 or 3 weeks now, because I've been just so busy. If any of you here have followed my live stream late last year, you'll notice different surroundings, because we moved out recently. And I've been a bit busy doing things in the background. You, Kenneth. So far then, we have got Pinball for Launchbox. I'm going to look into that one. Windows Cast Libretto. Okay. Now I've got 12 people joined at the moment. I was hoping for a bit more. What I want to say is I've mentioned this on community posts in the past. People often, in fact, this is becoming a daily thing, will private message me even on social media and ask me for ROM websites. I don't provide links for these. I don't encourage piracy. I kind of play a couple of games on different setup guides, and that's it. I'm done, pretty much. So yeah, don't do that. So where in the world is everyone? Have we got any British people here? Last time I did this, it was mainly Americans. I remember speaking to somebody in Detroit. Not sure if you're here. And yeah, I'm also going to say specific setup guides, and I get a lot of requests pretty much every day as well. Very specific setup guides. As a lot of you are aware, I ask for donations because I've kind of got my own schedule for videos to release every day. And if there's videos, very specific videos, you need, I set PayPal donations for that. And, people will ask me, how much do you want? It's like, whatever you think it's worth, But I need to get on with making videos. That is my life. That's what I do these days. Yeah, Kenneth, you was there last time on my last live stream. That must be you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you still on Retrobat, Kenneth? Yeah, Nathan. Thanks for subscribing. No worries. So yeah, it is a bit of a rabbit hole, my channel, Nathan. But just look at it like this: is that I got say 5 or 6 main front end playlists, which I continuously add to. So like today, like I said earlier on the stream, I uploaded a couple of particular setup guides for Retrobat, but in the background of that, I also do particular setup guides for Retroarch, Launchbox, Batocera, and apart from all those, I also do Play Night as well, and I've got loads of different standalone emulators as well. Biggie. So BatGUI was telling me it was corrupt in the past. Uh, Biggie, was that from Retrobat version 6? Or was that prior to version 6? TV games in Retrobat. Let me just check. If I just open up Retrobat and go to the ROMs. Uh, TV games. TV games, to me, I interpret that as being your sort of like late 1970s ping pong tennis games. But to be honest, I don't recall seeing a TV games. Yeah, you're right. TV games. Okay, so yeah, the problem is I was saying just a minute ago, Biggie, is that Retrobat version 6 had a hell of a lot of problems with Bat GUI. I did a beginner setup guide on the release of version 6, and that's one of the first things which struck me is that Bat GUI was a complete mess. And to be honest with you, from version 6, I don't think Bat GUI in version 6.1 is actually that much better, but I'm sure the dev team will sort that out at some point. Yeah, yeah. So if anyone here is having issues with Bat GUI with Retrobat, it's a common thing, and it's not like you're doing anything wrong. So, for example, if I was to open up Bat GUI right now, there's particular things in there which isn't working. So if I go to Retrobat Ini, that works okay. That's fine. We got SDL library rather. Uh, working. CHD Manager's working as of 6.1. BIOS Checker is coming soon, which isn't a big problem. What BIOS Checker is going to do, I'd imagine, is going to check for missing BIOS files. Yeah, you know what? I think Play Night is very much underrated, and don't think it's actually been around that long compared with some front ends. But yeah, it needs a bit more love. And of course, I've covered Play Night several times on my channel. Sorry, I didn't mean Bat GUI. I meant I can control the Retrobat to scroll through systems and games, select a game, but once I get into the emulator, it doesn't. So what you're saying, Heavy Instinct, is that you go to open up a game in Retrobat and you open it up with an emulator, but it's not launching the game. Is that what you're saying? So the game launches, but then once the game opens, my zero by control. Oh, I see. What do you mean by zero pi? Is that a? Uh, I'm not sure what zero pi is. Is that a Raspberry Pi Zero? Do you mean? Yeah, Heavy Instinct. I'm not too familiar with what it is you're talking about there. Control boards for arcade control panels. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, so I can't really help you. Uh, but what it sounds like is that the driver for your controller isn't working, so there is ways to change your driver for different controls. If okay. To be honest, Biggie, I think there was a couple of new Retroarch cores to Retrobat 6.1, but if you're happy with version 6, then to be honest, I wouldn't really update. If you did want to update, then uh, in my opinion, Bat GUI isn't much better from version 6, so it's entirely up to you. If you do update it, just make sure to make a backup of everything because people's commented in the past on Retrobat videos and they've moaned that they've lost everything. So, so no brainer. If you're going to update something, always make a backup. So I was, yeah, for anyone who's just joined, I was messing around with Launchbox the other day, and you can actually auto-populate, say, a ROM set into its own categories. So, for example, just here, I've got main, and I've actually set this up to show you. I was going to do a video on this for Launchbox users, but we can actually put things in a different category. So you see, I've got a main ROM set just here. Now, normally it'd likely just say arcade or main, but as you can see, I've got different categories just here. So very cool stuff. TV games. Let me just make a note of that. So TV games. Okie dokes. So TV games. Let's just. To be honest with you, Kenneth, I've not really looked into that one, but I should do really. TV games. TV plug and play devices. It looks pretty interesting, but not really sure what it is this system does. So file extension for games need to be in .zip. It uses handheld TV game. So yeah, I've got a question about ROG Alley. That's Rogue Alley. um, if you've got Retrobat on, say, a USB stick, and providing the Alley has got Windows on it, I can't see why it wouldn't work. I've had people in the past comment saying that they use Retrobat on ROG Alley. Funny enough, I was looking at them recently in a local shop, and I've looked into the specs, and obviously they look a little bit better than the Steam Deck. But is it really worth the money? What they're going for? And you've also got another portable PC, Legion. Uh, can't think what it's called. It's the era we live in nowadays. Portable PCs everywhere. So something I've got just here, actually. I've just reread your question, Plasma. Duh, 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 duh. Let me. What I'm going to do, Plasma, is send you a link for actually a Retrobat portable setup guide, which I done a little while back. Take a look at it, and what you can do is follow it. And like I said, provided that Alley has got Windows on it, like I said, I can't see why it won't work. So the link I just posted, this is for how to make Retrobat portable. So yeah, follow that, put that on a USB stick, and then just plug it into the Alley. MSI Claw, I've not heard of that one. Yeah, Nathan. I don't actually have it anymore because, to be honest, I didn't use it much. But I had a Steam Deck, and the thing is, the idea of those, to me, the idea of portable systems, they're really good and they're superb nowadays. To the point where you can pretty much use it on your TV and use it as a PC in its own right. But I don't really have much time to, sit around and play games. And I'm more of a PC person, to be honest. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, like I said, the MSI. I've not actually seen that, and I've heard of the Odin too as well. But again, I'm not a massive fan with portable devices. Not really. I never have been. In early '90s, I had an original OG Game Boy, and that was the only portable system that I really thought a lot of, with the exception of the Wii U. I was a big fan of the Wii U, but is it portable or was that a full-on console? It's a bit debatable, that one. So you've got Odin 2. Oh Jesus! So the Odin, yeah, Odins are pretty pricey. Uh, yeah, like I say, I've not actually heard of that one. Looks a little bit like an amber neck. Yo, Mike. And yeah, MSI Portable. I need to look at that as well. So, oh, MSI Claw. So yeah, roughly these portables are all around the same sort of price. Obviously, if you're looking to buy a portable for retro gaming, um, Steam Deck OLED model is now out, and some people are actually saying that Ali is better than that. Snapdragon 8. See, there are so many of these portable PCs these days. It's like these names are coming up. And they just so we got a Snapdragon 8 times 2. Yeah, definitely not heard of a Snapdragon. Yeah, not sure about this one. Yeah, I just noticed when I googled that it's a chipset. To be honest with you, I was wondering, uh, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. Hmm. Uh, hey, thanks for your donation, Mike. Nice one. I haven't searched yet, but do you have a video on setting up controllers within Retrobat? I did actually. Bear with me, Jamie. I will just send you a link to that setup guide. I actually did that one a little while back. Bear with me. I'll send you a direct link. I'm pretty sure the one I'm about to send you is for the question, what you're asking. Okay. So yeah, to be honest with you, the Snapdragon processor absolutely new to me because the modern day technology it moves so fast. It's really hard to keep up with things. Like just a minute ago, people was talking to me about all these portable PCs nowadays. Like, how are these passing me by? No worries, Jamie. Like I said, if that's not the video, um, but I think it is, just let me know. So, Mike, I have done a video on Retrobat Wii a little while back, and funny enough, I was actually considering updating that Retrobat guide. I've got one here from July 2023, but in this setup guide I'm about to link you to, it should tell you, and I'm pretty sure it does, explain in this video how to emulate nunchucks and Wiimote. And surprisingly, it's pretty simple to do as well. It's not as hard as what some people would think. If you want to use real nunchuck and a real Wiimote with, say, Dolphin Emulator or Dolphin Core and Retroarch, you can actually use a real nunchuck in Wiimote. So they're for sale on Amazon, and you need a sensor bar as well for those. So you know what? I was actually going to do this live stream tomorrow night because my partner she's going away to London for a couple of days. She's going to see a British boy group called Take That. Not my cup of tea, and yeah, I won't be going. So I'm going to be staying here. And I thought, no, let's just do this live stream tonight. So Heavy Instinct. To be honest with you, that idea went a long time ago. Happy to do it, of course, and that'll be fine. we'll need to arrange it. And let me just remind you that I won't be putting games on anything. I'll literally do setups, but if you want to put your own games in it, I can show you how to do it and where to put things. But, you know, really, that goes for anyone. If anyone's needing direct support from me using an application on Windows called TeamViewer, I'm happy to do that for anyone, really, to get you up and running, doing the basics. But like I say, in terms of putting your own games on it, you'll have to do that yourself for legal reasons, if you see what I mean. So, say for example, people struggling with retro FE front end or attract mode, I'm happy to connect to your computer and help you through it. So, yeah, like I say, Heavy Instinct, I totally forgot about that idea, but so, yeah, your old Wii gamepads, they should technically. There's a sensor bar you can buy on Amazon, or you could a little while back. Bear with me a sec. Let me try and point you to the sensor bar that you need. It's called something like Dolphin sensor bar, something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you want to use your real nunchuck in Wiimote for Dolphin emulator, it's something like one of these just here you need. And they're not extremely expensive. But to be honest with you, if I was going to play Wii games, I wouldn't be waving my arms around here in 2024. I had enough of that when they came out. Eventually, when I did get hold of a Wii from a British store called Argos, they were sold out for a long time. I got one and I wasn't that impressed with the Wii, to be honest. To me, it was just a big marketing thing to get people losing weight and doing exercises. I just couldn't take it that seriously, the Wii system. Yeah, so Mike, controller for games like Mario Galaxy and Metroid Prime, I'm pretty sure even back in the day on the Wii, you could use or buy a Wii Classic controller, which could do that anyways. If you couldn't, you could still emulate those Wii games and use a conventional controller, like an Xbox controller, to do that. So I sent a link just a minute ago to a Retrobat Wii setup guide, and I explain in that video how to use like an Xbox controller to control games rather than using a Wiimote, which, oh. So let's just put it like this. I was a support worker when the Wii came out, and I was doing long hours supporting people with mental health. And the last thing I wanted to do when I came home with Screaming Kids 2 was wave my arms about everywhere. So, yeah, it's just the Wii really wasn't for me. And yeah, it's a shame because there were some good solid games, I suppose, on the Wii. It's like the Mario Galaxy games were definitely good. Okay, so what's up, Amiga? Okay, so we got a Dreamcast question here for Retrobat. Is that the Retroarch core? Uh, is that the Flycast core in Retroarch which is having this problem? Yeah, so 8-bit do controllers. I couldn't see why they wouldn't work with Retrobat or Wii games. I found with the controllers I've thrown towards Retrobat in the past, it's pretty good with what it takes. Okay, so you're having issues with Flycast. Uh, do you still have Redream in Retrobat. If Redream is an option, I've not looked at it for a little while, Dreamcast in Retrobat, but I'm pretty sure Redream was there. And for me, Redream is a very good emulator for Dreamcast games. But having said that, the Flycast emulator has also got the ability to import and install, say, DLC for Dreamcast games, which Redream, to my knowledge, can't do. So, yeah, Flycast in general, I'm more of a Redream person, but Flycast, it has got bonuses there. Like I said, you can actually, believe it or not, Dreamcast did add DLC for some games. So, yeah, if you've got Redream, without a doubt, try and run your Dreamcast games with that instead. And if you go over to the Redream website for a tiny little payment, I think it's about $10, you can get a file, and that can actually increase your internal resolution and sort of upscale your Dreamcast games to 4K. I don't think you can do that in Flycast. I might be wrong. But Dreamcast games in around 4K, they look stunning for, considering how old those games are. So I'm just going to make a note to everyone that I've got some new people join. Somebody mentioned earlier about connecting via TeamViewer. If you're not sure what TeamViewer is, it just means that my computer can connect to your computer and I can do things on your computer from this end. If anyone wants that service where I can kind of help you get a front end up together you might be struggling with, I can actually do that. So the problem is with Hyperspin is that, say you've got games in Hyperspin, you can take those out and you can probably put those into Retrobat more than likely. I'd probably say yes. But Hyperspin, in my opinion, it was great in its day and really good. Now, I was going to start a series on Hyperspin setups a little while back. I actually did a video, the first part of it, and then I found as I was doing part two, I just couldn't get hold of particular files and that type of thing, so I just gave up. And nowadays we got newer systems, front ends out there, such as Retro FE in attract mode. And if you can manage to customize those in the right way, you can pretty much get a decent Hyperspin type experience with that alone. And Hyperspin to me has just always been majorly overcomplicated for what it is. Like I said, you really don't need that headache nowadays. There's easier systems around to use. Yeah, try Redream. Like I say, it's pretty cool. So yeah, Omega. I think I'm pronouncing that right, Omega. Retrobat, it's wonderful, and I was actually talking about this earlier on. Is that Retrobat is very good. But in terms of adding your own emulators, you can't necessarily do that, or if you can, it's not that easy. This is why I say I personally prefer to use something like Launchbox. Um, to me, that's the best around, and that's not a selling point. I just like the customization we can do in Launchbox. Funny enough, a couple of people has asked me recently in video comments, can I add my own emulator to Retrobat? Now, like I said earlier on in this stream, you can, but it just means going into files and editing through Notepad and doing things. If anyone remembers how Emulationstation used to be before the desktop edition came around for Windows, it was pretty much a typing in scripts into a text, typing in text into a. Can't get my words out. Okay, I think I'm going to move on from that. Top three front ends. So obviously, like I was saying, Nathan, Launchbox in terms of premium, in terms of paying, is the ultimate. That's my personal opinion, and the reason that is because of big box. So I think I paid $30 or $40 for a year with Launchbox, and that gets me all the updates, and it gives me big box as well. And big box is superb. In terms of free front ends, then I'd kind of say Retrobat in terms of simplicity and the ease of use, especially for beginners. I also think EmuDeck 2.2 for Windows is also a fairly good new front end. And we've also got Emulationstation Desktop Edition. So that's my main three top front ends. And of course, we got Retroarch as well. And although Retroarch is ugly, I've done plenty of videos for Retroarch to customize it and even give you dynamic backgrounds. So with a bit of work towards Retroarch, you can really make that look good in its own right. Yeah, that's right. Heavy Instinct. I know what you're saying there. I think there's a lot of new people getting into emulation, and they're using Retrobat. And yeah, definitely in terms of simplicity, it's probably the easiest out there. Um, yeah, let me just show you a little bit of Big Box because a lot of people's probably seen Launchbox, and maybe you've not seen the full version of it, the paid version. So if I just open up Big Box, might take a little while launching Big Box, but we'll see. I actually had to buy my laptop the other day, a new fan to go on it, because I use the laptop so much to do videos and editing, and yeah, it's getting a bit too hot. So, so while that's loading a minute, is anyone else got any suggestions of content you want me to do? So we got a window castle of retro, Launchbox pinball setup, and TV games for retro. But entirely sure. Okay, so this is Big Box version of Launchbox. So, a really nice thing about the latest version of this is that we got new features added to Launchbox 13.12. But the way to make it look good is just go into the options in Launchbox Big Box. If I just go down to Manage Themes, and we can actually change themes just here, and we got loads of themes to use in Big Box. So lots of themes there, and if we apply a theme, we can actually use a different themes, sub themes for a game. So there's a lot of customization in Big Box. Now, the way I've got this set up at the moment is I'm obviously a big Commodore 64 fan, and I'm a big Amiga fan too. In fact, I love Commodore. If I go into my Amiga collection, so if you can see that, I've actually got music I've downloaded as well to go with these. And then Commodore 64. Let's just open up RGCD Commodore 64 game from 2012. So in terms of speed and everything else, to me, Launchbox, Big Box, is a little bit on the slow side compared to some other front ends, but as long as it plays the games, that's okay. And funny enough, this one isn't playing. So it's now dead, one or the other. But, oh, no, it did actually boot up my C64 game then. It's just I've got this live stream going, and I think, yeah, there we go. Now, this is a C64 game running through Retroarch, and the bezel you can see for this is actually a mega bezel which someone's put together, and it's for Commodore bezels, mega bezels. So I've got this set up as a C64C model. Yeah, I've not played this game in a little while. So, talking about RetroArch just now, how we can actually customize it, I've actually customized RetroArch here in the background. Let me just try and exit this game, close content. Let me just show everyone here what I've done to RetroArch. So, yeah, someone asked what my favorite top 3 front ends were. And I'm not saying that everyone loves RetroArch because a lot of people can struggle with it, but I'm just going to show you an example of what you can do with it when you pimp it. So here we go. So this is my copy of RetroArch, and I put a background in it, and I've also changed the icons, and I've done other bits and pieces to it. But if you're interested in customizing RetroArch, I did a setup guide on that a while back where you can even add background music and even make it dynamic, which is pretty sure it's user interface, appearance, shader pipeline. I mean, check this out. Look at this. Can you believe RetroArch is actually doing this? So, yeah, not sure what's happened there. Simple snow, there we go. So, yeah, you can do a hell. You can actually do a lot with RetroArch. Not sure why it's coming down like this, all white, but there we go. So, yeah, Heavy Instinct. I actually got a RetroArch playlist where you can learn how to do this yourself, and it's actually not that hard to do. And like I was saying, you can actually put different icons on here. So, for example, I've got Retro System at the moment. If I go to use something like Monochrome Inverted and restart, I believe it is. Now, if you look at my icons, can't see them now. It's probably because I've got these black. Okay. Yeah, so with you can make those changes in Launchbox because to be fair, just like most front end systems, everything's pretty much running from RetroArch in the background. So this is my RetroArch, which I use in combination with Launchbox. So if I just restart Retroarch now, back up with my original icons. Yeah, and here we go. Oh, we got slightly different icons. I must press the wrong one. So yeah, it's quite surprising how you can customize Retroarch. It's pretty impressive. But anyways, I've got around 2 minutes left, and I'm going to call it a night for this session. So, like I say, really, I've done this to get a bit of an idea of what it is I was wanting from my channel at the moment. So I've made a list of a few things at least, which I'm going to look at. And yeah, that's it really. You know what, Nathan? The PlayStation 3, without a doubt, is quite likely my favourite console ever. It was superb. Yeah, exclusives on the PS3 was just awesome. Um, yeah, and you know, I'm not going to turn this into an Xbox war, but in fact, I'm not going to go there at all. But the PS3, yeah, definitely one of my favourites. Oh, XMB. I know you prefer Retrobat or Batocera, and I do too, but I'm curious to know your opinions as to why. Uh, just simplicity, really. So to me, Retrobat and Batocera, they're pretty much the same thing, aren't they? The only difference is that Batocera needs to be, say, installed onto USB stick, and you don't get the ability to use Windows at the same time. So yeah, I prefer Retrobat over Batocera for that reason. You, Jason. Yeah, and the PS1, absolutely. Obviously, around that era or just before that era, very experimental times. You had the 3DO, obviously, you had the CDI, and PS1 really blew everything out of the water. And at the time, I was kind of like, whoa, Sony gonna make a console? It seems pretty out there, as much out there as what it sounded in the early 2000s when Microsoft was announcing the original Xbox. Like, how is this possible? But you know, talking about that era of CD systems, you know, you've got CD32, Amiga CD32. You've got the CDI, of course, but yeah, it's really only the PS1 which actually went anywhere with that. And the 3DO is actually one of my guilty pleasures. I love 3DO. And my particular favourite 3DO console was a Panasonic FZ10. What a beauty. And I remember on the build up to the PS1 coming out, I think it was around 1995. I was in an independent computer shop at the time, like you did have back then. Um, and I always remember a sales assistant talking to my dad at the time, talking to him about how this new PlayStation console was coming and everything looked so realistic. And yeah, of course it did at the time. And yeah, the 3DO, $650 launch price, just astronomical, uh, you know, ridiculously high. But I also look at those times is that we had the technology at the time, which at the time, that type of thing was new technology and it wasn't particularly cheap to produce like it would be today. And you've also got different brains in the background making these systems possible. So, like I said, with experimental things often comes a high price. And there was actually a 3DO Mark II. Yeah, if you didn't know about that, there was going to be a sequel, as it were, to the 3DO. And I think the hardware for the 3DO 2 ended up in arcade machines. So, anyways, I'm going to call it a night. Let me just say again, I always, always, always welcome donations through PayPal. Um, just to help me get along, you know, that type of thing. I put a lot of hours into my YouTube channel. So yeah, I always accept that, you know, just to support my channel and just to cheer me on, really, that type of thing. And let me just remind you again that I can get you up and running through a program called TeamViewer. Like I say, I won't provide any games or anything like that, but I'll get you the structure up together for systems you might be struggling with. So I think, very briefly, Nathan, with TechnoParrot, and this is just before I go, but I'm going a sec. TechnoParrot, you'll need to look on the website and you need to pay in order to play particular games, or you did the last time I looked at TechnoParrot. Videos in the backgrounds for Retroarch, I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't think you can, but I could be wrong. I'm more inclined to say you can't do that. I'm pretty sure the backgrounds in Retroarch needs to be JPEG. Heavy Instincts, if you're interested in doing the TeamViewer thing, then by all means, give me a message through Facebook and we'll sort that out. It will likely be tomorrow. I got a lot of spare time. My partner's going away to London tomorrow to see a very dodgy 90s boy group. But yeah, so tomorrow, that'll be fine. So yeah, if anyone wants me for TeamViewer session where I can help you build a front end or whatever, then message me, private message me on Facebook. And the name on Facebook, if you go into any of my videos, Heavy Instinct, look in the description. I'm pretty sure there's a link to it, to my Facebook page. Let me just take a look. Yeah, I'll copy it now for you, but if anyone needs to message me about TeamViewer sessions and help building uh, your front ends for you if you're struggling, I'm just going to paste my Facebook page there. Not sure if that's worked. Bear with me. Just going to try and get my Facebook page in a link. Okay, there. So if anyone needs me for the TeamViewer in me helping build whatever, do anything for you with front ends, check me out on that Facebook link. This is my Just Jamie Facebook page. Just message me through here, and yeah, I'll respond to you then. And Heavy Instincts, if you want to message me through that Facebook in a couple of minutes, let me know and we'll sort something out. Like I said, I'm going to have some free time tomorrow whilst my partner's in London. So, yeah, just let me know a second if you actually have that link and it's working. Uh, no worries. And so, yeah, so before I go, I'm just going to say again, if anyone needs me for me to connect to your computer to help you with front ends, as long as you don't expect me to provide games, that type of thing, I'm happy to customize things, set you up if you're struggling. But anyways, I'm going to be around for, say, the next 5 or 10 minutes. So if anyone needs to message me now on Facebook and I'll get back to you. So anyways, what I'm going to do for now is say goodbye to everyone and thanks for joining. And I'm also going to check those three systems out just there. People's asked me for. But anyways, until next time, stay retro.